This is gonna blow your mind. 2025 didn't just start with a new president. It detonated with the return of Donald J. Trump, storming back into the White House and instantly throwing America into a whirlwind of chaos, hope, and fear. The stakes? Nothing less than the soul of the nation. In his first months, Trump blurred the line between governing and campaigning, moving at breakneck speed to dismantle his predecessor's policies. The West Wing buzzed with urgency as executive orders piled up, and staffers raced to keep pace with his relentless agenda. Trump's rallies, like the one in Des Moines, became electrifying spectacles, packed with grievances, bold promises, and viral gaffes that only deepened his connection with loyal supporters. The energy was palpable, as crowds chanted and waved flags, eager for the next headline-grabbing moment. Behind the scenes, his administration enacted hardline immigration measures, including the opening of a controversial detention center deep in the Florida Everglades. The move drew sharp criticism from opponents, but the White House insisted it was necessary to restore order at the border. These bold actions projected an image of absolute control over the border, thrilling his base and fueling a renewed sense of purpose among his supporters, who rallied behind his uncompromising stance. On the world stage, Trump's diplomacy faltered, his calls with Putin yielded no Ukraine breakthrough, and he paused weapons to Kiev, citing America first. Allies grew uneasy, questioning America's commitment as global tensions simmered. Tensions spiked after U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites triggered retaliatory missile attacks, keeping the nation on edge and sparking fears of a wider conflict in the Middle East. The Trump presidency was back, louder, faster, and more divisive than ever, with the country bracing for what would come next. Trump's domestic agenda centered on his Big Beautiful Bill, an 887-page overhaul of taxes, social programs, immigration, and defense. It slashed over $1 trillion from safety nets, poured billions into border enforcement and defense, and ballooned the national debt. Democrats fiercely opposed it. Hakeem Jeffries' marathon speech and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's condemnation captured the outrage. Despite chaos and last-minute lobbying, the bill passed the House by just 4 votes. Republicans hailed it as a new era for American workers, but the deep divisions it exposed set the stage for bitter midterm battles. The legislative victory was Pyrrhic. America was more polarized than ever. To push his bill through Congress, Trump weaponized Truth Social, transforming the platform into his own digital megaphone. He posted relentlessly, using the app to rally his base and keep the spotlight fixed on his agenda. He unleashed a barrage of all-caps demands and threats, targeting wavering lawmakers with public pressure and direct calls to action. The tone was unmistakable, urgent, aggressive, and impossible to ignore. His posts mobilized thousands of supporters who flooded congressional offices with phone calls, emails, and social media messages, amplifying the pressure on politicians to fall in line or face the wrath of his loyal following. Carefully staged images circulated online, showing Trump as a hands-on leader, surrounded by advisors in the Oval Office, personally steering the fight and projecting an image of total control. But not all conservatives were on board. Elon Musk, a vocal critic, slammed the bill's spending and threatened to fund primary challengers, sparking heated debate within the movement. The episode revealed deep cracks in Trump's coalition, exposing a new rift on the right as lawmakers and activists clashed over the future of the party and its priorities. Meanwhile, Trump's online presence fueled a series of viral controversies, including a former Gaza hostage crediting his election for better treatment, which dominated headlines and social feeds for days. Supporters saw these moments as proof of Trump's strength and influence. Critics saw only spectacle and chaos, deepening the divide. Every event became a test of loyalty, a flashpoint for division that left the nation more polarized than ever, with Truth Social at the center of the storm. Trump's first 6 months in office were a storm of controversy, marked by sweeping executive orders and a relentless push on immigration. His policies sparked outrage nationwide, especially after viral footage emerged of a violent deportation raid that left families separated and communities in shock. The images quickly spread across social media, fueling heated debates and protests in cities across the country. For many, it was a turning point that defined the tone of his presidency. The Supreme Court ultimately sided with his administration on key deportation cases, a decision that drew praise from his political allies and supporters. At the same time, it provoked fierce condemnation from human rights groups and legal experts who warned of lasting consequences for vulnerable communities. Meanwhile, legal battles from Trump's past continued to unfold in the courts, keeping the nation riveted and the headlines filled with speculation and analysis. Every new development seemed to deepen the sense of uncertainty and division. Supporters saw a president who was keeping his promises, fighting for their interests, and refusing to back down in the face of criticism, chaos, and all. For them, Trump's boldness was a sign of strength and authenticity. Critics, however, saw a leader who was undermining democracy, eroding institutions, and inflicting harm on the most vulnerable. They feared the long-term impact of his actions on the nation's values and future. The country seemed split into two starkly different realities, one side celebrating disruption and change, the other fearing disaster and the unraveling of American ideals. As July 4th arrived, a day meant for unity, America was more divided than ever before, with celebrations and protests unfolding side by side. The Trump era had returned, reshaping the nation in its image, and leaving Americans to grapple with what that truly meant for the country's future.